The oil industry. It's one of the most powerful, secretive, and controversial forces on Earth. It fuels our nations, drives wars, and shapes the global economy. Yet beneath its shining towers and billion-dollar profits lie secrets that could shake the world. From mysterious deaths to vanishing oil reserves and cover-ups that changed history, get ready to explore 5 disturbing mysteries the oil industry doesn't want you to know. First up, the vanishing engineers of the North Sea. Back in the 1970s and 80s, the North Sea oil boom was turning Britain and Norway into energy giants. But this success story had a dark side. A number of engineers working on offshore drilling platforms vanished under highly mysterious circumstances. Officially, they drowned at sea or never returned from their shifts, but rumors swirled that these men had uncovered serious design flaws or safety violations and were silenced before they could blow the whistle. Families and colleagues insisted that official reports blaming accidents or bad weather just didn't add up. One whistleblower, known only as Engineer X, claimed companies were burying evidence of faulty rigs to avoid billions in losses. Shortly after leaking documents, he disappeared, and his body was never found. To this day, the cases remain unsolved, and the oil corporations involved deny any wrongdoing. Next, let's talk about the Deepwater Horizon cover-up. The 2010 explosion in the Gulf of Mexico was one of the worst environmental disasters in history. It took the lives of 11 workers and spewed over 200 million gallons of crude oil into the ocean. But what many don't know is that the true scale of the disaster was likely far worse than what the public was told. Insiders later came forward, claiming that the oil companies and even government agencies deliberately underreported the volume of the spill to minimize the financial and reputational damage. Fishermen reported seeing massive oil slicks long after officials had declared the cleanup complete. Even more disturbing were the accounts from cleanup workers who later developed strange illnesses, rashes, breathing problems, and neurological damage. These were allegedly caused by the chemical dispersants used not to remove the oil, but to sink it and hide it from view. The company denied responsibility, and many lawsuits were quietly settled out of court. The ocean's surface might look healed, but the full truth of what happened remains buried in the deep. Now for a mystery that involves geopolitics and a whole lot of missing money. The lost oil reserves of Iraq. When the US invaded Iraq in 2003, the official reason was weapons of mass destruction. But many researchers argue that oil, not weapons, was the real motive. After the fall of Saddam Hussein, several major Iraqi oil fields were taken over by Western corporations, but then, something strange happened. Huge sections of Iraq's documented oil reserves seemed to just disappear from official reports. Geologists who had once mapped these reserves claimed that millions of barrels were suddenly unaccounted for. Some believe the oil was redirected or sold off secretly through private deals. Others suggest the oil was never missing at all, it was intentionally hidden to control prices and manipulate global markets. Any documents that could shed light on this are classified, and whistleblowers who tried to speak out were either threatened or discredited. To this day, no one can definitively say where billions of dollars worth of Iraqi oil went or who truly profited from it. Our fourth mystery hits closer to home for communities around the world: the silent deaths of environmental activists. From Nigeria's Niger Delta to the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador, people have long protested the oil pollution that destroys their land and health. But many who dared to stand up didn't live to tell their stories. In the 1990s, Nigerian activist Ken Saro-Wiwa led peaceful protests against Shell for poisoning his people's water and soil. He was later arrested on false charges and executed by a military regime that received immense financial support from oil interests. In Ecuador, journalists and indigenous leaders who exposed oil contamination have died, inconvenient accidents, or vanished without a trace. The pattern sends a chilling message: when profits are at stake, speaking out can be deadly. Major oil companies consistently deny any involvement, yet leaked documents often reveal their deep connections to the very regimes accused of these killings. The world's thirst for oil has left behind not just polluted rivers, but also the graves of those who spoke the truth. Finally, perhaps the most disturbing mystery of all is the one about the future that never was: the suppressed energy revolution. Think about it. For decades, countless inventors have claimed to develop revolutionary technologies that could replace oil engines that run on water, zero-emission fuels, even methods to pull clean energy from the air. Yet, many of these innovators suddenly went bankrupt, were discredited, or died under suspicious circumstances. A famous example is Stanley Meyer. In the 1990s, he invented a water fuel cell car that he claimed could run on plain tap water. He was sued, labeled a fraud, and died suddenly from a supposed brain aneurysm right after a meeting with potential investors. His patents vanished, his prototypes were seized, and his technology was never seen again. Whether these stories are elaborate hoaxes or evidence of a massive conspiracy, one thing is certain: the oil industry has every reason to suppress any invention that threatens its trillion-dollar empire. Oil powers everything: our cars, our cities, our conflicts. It has built fortunes and destroyed nations. For over a century, it's been called black gold, but it's more like the black blood of modern civilization, keeping it alive while slowly poisoning it from within. Behind the boardroom deals and glossy ads lies a world of secrets, disappearances, deception, and destruction, all hidden under layers of profit and power. These 5 mysteries are just the tip of the iceberg. For every barrel of oil pumped from the ground, there's a story that goes untold, a story that someone, somewhere, doesn't want you to hear. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. What other industry secrets should we investigate? Let me know in the comments below. Stay curious.